Hey guys, I hope your week is going well. This is actually exam week for Abby, and I took her to school on Tuesday for her first exam, and she only had to be there from 10 to 11:30 at the latest to take this exam. And after I drove all the way out to Chatham Parkway, I said, you know what, there's absolutely no need for me to drive back to the islands because I probably wouldn't even make it back before I needed to turn around and go pick her back up. So I decided to grab some Bojangles and then get some work done from that side of town. Now, I thought I might be able to sit there at Bojangles and work, but the dining room's still closed. It is what it is. So I got my steak biscuit to go, and I drove back to Savannah Christian to park under the shade there in the parking lot and get some work done while I waited on Abby to finish up. And once I got settled, I realized a terrible truth, that Chatham Parkway is a dark hole of cellular service, right? I couldn't get anything to load, no emails, no websites, not even my music to listen to. So I just decided to take my time, ate my biscuit, did some reading because my book didn't need cellular service. One of the many reasons that I still prefer paper books to digital books. Now, just before I got lost in my book, I realized that I was pretty upset, right? That I had such a poor service for my phone. I mean, it's 2021, guys. Chatham Parkway is a pretty busy area. Why is the service so bad? I'm sure all you guys can sympathize with me when you have been somewhere there's a dead cell area, right? And you needed to get something done. It's frustrating to say the least. Now let me ask you this question. Have you ever felt that way about God? Have you ever felt like your signal is just too weak and He's not hearing you or you aren't hearing Him? I think most of us have had a season like that in our lives before. And as I was preparing for this devotion, I looked up all kind of blogs and websites about feeling distant from God. And honestly, none of them had a really good response. Too many of them, as a matter of fact, were these like feeling checks and is my friendship with God okay checks. And man, I just don't think that's what it's about. I don't think we feel disconnected from God because of our emotional stuff necessarily. I want to give you two suggestions as to why we feel distant from God. And both of them, they do deal with us and not with God. Scripture is clear that God is unchanging and He's available. So the problem then lies in our own reception, not in His. The first reason I'm going to give you guys, I think we feel disconnected from God, is the sin that is in our lives that we haven't confessed and haven't turned from. 1 John 1:6 tells us that if we say we have fellowship with Him while we walk in darkness, we lie and do not practice the truth. We can't hold on to sin and expect to have clear reception with God who hates sin. So if your spiritual cell service is lacking, then take a good look into your own heart, guys, and make sure that you aren't keeping any kind of sin in there that could be messing up your signal, if you want to think of it that way. The second thing that could absolutely have you living in a dead spot is that you're out of God's will. And now this one's a little more difficult. It's not as easy to work through as the sin thing, right? There's shelves of books out there about how to discern God's will and know what God's will is for your life. But that doesn't mean that we still don't have some clear boundaries, right? When our choices are more about pleasing ourselves instead of pleasing God, guys, it's going to seem like He's distant. Micah 6:8 tells us this: He has told you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you, but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God. Too many times we think that to know God's will is to know the outcome of every decision that we're going to face before we even get there. And that's just not how it works. When we do just things, when we live out love and kindness to other people, that's when we're able to walk in humility with God, our Creator. We don't have to know what tomorrow holds. We just need to know who holds tomorrow. And when we surrender our desire to His plan, guys, we're going to find ourselves walking in daily obedience. And that is a connection that is far stronger than any kind of cellular provider is ever going to be able to come up with. They're just not going to be able to match that. So guys, if you find yourself in a cellular dead zone, like for real with your phone, take a breath. It's going to be okay. And then take another second to make sure that you're getting full bars with your Creator as well. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and we're going to see you all real soon.